I thought Inside Out 2 was so fun, so vibrant, so full of life. I can't disagree with anything more in my entire life.
It's not that I disagree. I believe like the opposite of what they said. My final rating?
Hello, fellow cave dwellers. Welcome back to Beyond the Cave podcast. We're your hosts, Anxiety
and Patrick. We switched it up today and we just saw Inside Out 2.
We just saw Inside Out 2. Patrick, what was your first?
Oh, this is such a good movie.
That's
what I got to start with.
I enjoyed every single moment of it. I think I smiled the entire hour and 35 minutes.
This is what a kid's movie needs to be. This was wholesome. Yeah. It teaches you a little bit. It's real.
Yeah.
It's just, it's clever. It's well thought out. I feel like everything in this movie is just like smart, but in not like a over the top crazy way. It's just like, it's thought about what it wants to be and it's done a really good job with it.
Okay. I just had such a ball.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't want to write anything down. I didn't want to stop looking at the screen. I was just like, I'm having so much fun.
I think this is the least amount of notes we've taken for a movie. And I felt the exact same way.
I was like, I don't want to look away. I'm having such a good time.
Yeah, like all I wrote down were a few like good jokes. I was like, oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, every time I saw you pick it up, I was like, I'd probably write something down now, so I'll just wait for him to bring it up. Except one time.
Yeah, I think that's the sign of a good movie.
Yeah.
Or a really bad movie, I guess.
Oh, no. I would have had so much to say about
maybe like
Napoleon.
A really bland movie. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And I don't know if it's because like I knew it was only an hour and 35 minutes, which is basically an episode of TV now, which is nuts in my opinion. I think more movies need to be around an hour and a half.
I'm a sucker for this length.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel... I just know I'm not going to be trapped there for like an eternity. Because sometimes movies feel like I'm there for an eternity, even when they're good.
Yeah. Like, dude, it's just so fun.
Yeah. It was perfect. I was like, oh, maybe they'll find a resolution for the conflict now. Oh, no, something else happened. Okay, well, I bet the next time it'll be conflict resolution. Like, I hate when movies have like 9 steps before we get to the conflict
like they
resolution.
try something, it doesn't work out.
They really want you to think it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, we know it's going to be fine.
It's a movie.
We know it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And maybe in a horror movie and some other ones, but like in a kid's movie, definitely, you just get to the point, and it's lovely.
I think a lot of movies want to be...
Kids know what's going on.
They want to be like 2:15, and a lot of them don't need to be that long.
Oh, you mean 2 hours 15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
145, 135, kind of like a great movie.
Yeah, it's like when YouTubers try to get to the 10-minute mark.
Hey, it's 8 minute now, but yes.
Whoa.
Oh,
anyway,
been for so long.
Know. Sorry.
Yeah. Some movies need to be like 2.5 hours. Avengers Endgame, take your time. But man.
Avatar was nice.
Yeah. Anyway, great length. So that's another positive of this movie.
I don't know. I loved every second of it. Like, I don't even know where to start.
Okay, let's start. Who's your favorite character in this?
Oh my gosh, that is such a hard question.
I don't know. Just a launching point to like get off on this.
That is such a hard question.
Okay, well, I'll start by saying that in this movie specifically, as compared to Inside Out, I thought that, I guess her name is Disgust. I thought she had a much better role in this one than the last one. Of all the emotions, I felt like in the last one, she was kind of like in the back seat. And I really liked the role she had where she's Disgust, but she had this like amazing love and fascination with the video game guy.
Ennui?
No, not Ennui. The dude that like, he was like your classic like weird sword fighter guy from like Street Fighter.
Right. Oh, like Blade?
Yeah. His name was Blade, and he's like
that whole jail cell. Yeah, that whole jail cell scene was so good.
Dude,
I thought that was great.
Such a fun scene. And I don't know, that guy, like I just fell in love with that guy because I was like, this is every
Patrick was
generic video game character ever.
And when he moved to get out and he was like,
he couldn't get out.
He couldn't get out because he couldn't.
It was so accurate.
Yeah,
and the
it was
way
so funny.
His graphics, his visuals were so perfect.
I like that they switched that up because in the first one they had that move through with Bing Bong where they went into abstract thought.
Oh, and they
so
got
it went
real
into like
weird.
3D and then 2D and everything. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I like when movies switch up style like that. And I liked that in this one. It was like Floofy or whatever, like her favorite TV show.
Oh, and I love that it was like that show that you still like when you're like 13
like a
as a
Dora
5-year-old.
the Explorer-esque show.
I
like
totally had a show like that I was
Yeah.
13 and I like,
you
know, I'd be
didn't want people to know that you liked
but
it.
you still liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything for me because I've always been very honest about what I like and what I don't like. Not in the sense like I just wouldn't tell people, but if they came to my house, like it's not like my room was decked out in floofy stuff.
Right.
You know, I still liked
Yeah.
it.
No, like
Yeah.
in the way that she kind of was saying how she doesn't like that band anymore.
Oh,
I certainly
yeah,
did that.
yeah, I
with-
definitely
with
did that with
gaming.
singers.
I was like, I don't like Pokemon anymore. This
yeah.
is stupid. And then I never played Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum like an idiot. Can you believe that?
We're not talking about that. Okay, moving on.
I just got to shoehorn it in.
Okay, so you really like Disgust.
She wasn't even my favorite character. I just thought she did a good job.
Okay, that's cool.
She's better.
Yeah,
than the first.
she was.
Yeah.
I really I think Fear is hilarious.
Okay.
The purple, like from the original.
Yeah, he's he's not my favorite character, but I think he does
He's so funny.
what he needs to do perfectly.
Yeah, he's so funny. And I loved that he was like, Anxiety, we're going to be great friends. I was like, yeah, that's really funny. And when Anxiety was like, Fear protects Riley from what can happen now, I protect Riley from what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that is perfect because that's what Anxiety does.
It's a good depiction of anxiety.
But I really liked all the new ones. I loved that Envy was so little.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, little baby.
I didn't really get like what Envy was doing.
Envy was the voice acting from, I don't know how to say her last name properly, but it's Ayo Edebiri. She's in Bottoms.
Okay.
And The Bear, and she's hilarious.
I thought she was really funny. I just didn't
the
feel
voice
like Envy...
acting was incredible, but I was like, what is Envy envious of?
Yes, Envy was not really doing the job of Envy.
Felt like a character that was like Anxiety's sidekick.
Yeah, all Envy was the only time Envy was actually envious was when it was seeing the older girl's red hair for the first time.
Val for the first time,
and was
I
like
think.
reaching out to her hair.
She was like, oh, I love her.
That's how they introduced Envy, and then Envy did nothing envious the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it was just like kind of like, I wish I thought of that.
But maybe it was like, I want to be happy. I'm envious.
Yeah, I don't know.
Happy people. I can see how anxiety
embarrassment
and envy
was
work
really
together.
funny.
And I loved that moment when Riley was so embarrassed, and embarrassment is just lying across the
lying
table.
across the whole
and he's like, he
console
can't get one
or
button.
console.
So Sadness is like, I got this for you. And it's like, wow, yeah, like just mostly embarrassment and
Yeah.
just a hint of sadness. It
was so
perfect.
good. But I do gotta say, I think Anxiety was my favorite.
It was a really good character.
Maya Hawke did really good voicing. Like those little high-pitched squeals. I was like, yeah. Anxiety's been controlling my console a couple times for sure. I kept thinking like, what will happen when it's Inside Out 3 and Riley's turning 18 and she has to go on Lexapro for the first time? Like, what happens to the brain? And she
that'll
has
be like-
to go on an
I
SSRI.
feel like, that'll be like Inside Out like 4.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I feel like we got
Okay.
or maybe that'll be like 87 when she's like 40.
87?
Yeah, or Inside Out 9 and she's 47 on Lexapro.
We're gonna be like 2 inside, 2 out, and like Inside X, like
Family.
her
I don't know. Low-hanging
family
fruit.
her family island is just Vin Diesel.
It's like I said, it's low hanging fruit,
That's
but
good.
you can't not take
You
those.
can't not take that hit. All
Um,
right, I'm holding it this time.
Oh, she's holding the laptop. Do you have something to go, or do
I
you
have
want me to
so
say
many things to
something?
say.
Okay, I thought that when the way that Anxiety drank 6 energy drinks at once is the most creative and intelligent way that someone has ever drank energy drinks ever. And I love energy drinks. Yeah, just
Yeah, that was so funny.
just like all like cracks 6 at a time and just shoves them in the sides of her mouth and
3 and 3.
done. Oh man.
Oh man,
What a
was-
buzz that would be. But anyway.
Yeah, a buzz. Yeah.
It's almost like it would be anxiety. It was so perfect.
Anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
I just have a couple questions that I really want to ask you.
Yeah, let's hear them.
Before we jump around. It's fun to jump around.
Yeah.
I like doing that. So last night, Pat and I watched Inside Out 1, and we noted that like Riley's main emotion was joy. And this movie, this part was like, I teared up quite a bit when, I forget who said it, but like Riley just doesn't need as much joy, or like Riley.
Oh, when joy is
like
realizing.
When you get older, you don't have as much joy. And I was like, oh my God. So last night, and tonight, I guess, in both movies, like the mom's brain is run by sadness and the dad's brain is run by anger. What do you think about that?
I feel like that is mainly done to highlight that they wanted to show that there's different emotions that drive people.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it says about the mom and the dad. I mean, it does say a lot, but I feel like that decision was mostly done to show that it isn't always joy.
It's not joy forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, before they were going to make a second one. I think it's a little bit like gender.
It's definitely a little
roly.
It's definitely a little binary, but I mean, I think that's fine.
I'm not upset about that for all like you woke monsters coming after me. I'm not upset about that. I'm just highlighting it.
I think for a kids movie,
I think it makes sense.
It's easier to comprehend.
Yeah, I think, and it's also, even as adults, people get older. I think on average, women are sad and men are angry.
I think that's a very good general take.
It's extremely general.
Tons of nuance, but generally, sure, I get that.
When I hear a story about someone getting really mad, I picture a man.
Yep, and someone crying.
And when someone's like, oh, a person was crying, I usually picture a woman. I need to work on not doing that anymore, but I think it makes sense in a kid's movie when you're keeping things really simple. And I think it's interesting.
I don't think that
But it didn't even seem that like sadness in the mom's brain. Like they all seemed pretty similar.
It's true.
And in the dad's brain too. Like it's not
like joy for baby Riley is just like calling the shots.
Yeah.
You know? And I think you're right.
It makes sense that joy starts too.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, when she's a baby. But it's just joy.
I think you're right though, where the five of them are just kind of all sitting around.
Yeah.
It's pretty...
They figured themselves out, and hopefully we get to see how that works out for Riley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think like it's saying that anger or sadness has to be your main emotion.
Me either.
It's just that that's them.
It's just the way they turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we learn, everyone needs all of the emotions.
Yeah, and it does such a good job of that. I thought this one did an even better job than sadness. Because I love that in the first one, it shows you, okay, sadness is important.
And she gets like the little orbs, the memories.
Yeah.
Which I want to touch so badly. When they walk over those, like when they're climbing the mountain, oh, that sound was like butter. I was like, I want to walk on that. Anyway, the avalanche was just a very satisfying moment for me. But when at the end of the first movie, we get memories that are two different colors.
Yeah.
So it's like mixed emotions. So as you get older, you go from experiencing one emotion at a time to feeling two at once.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal for kids.
I love the way it slowly introduces depth to basically personality.
Yeah.
Because it's basically the psychology of personality.
Yeah, like you develop memories and the whole nature versus... They don't really touch on the nature part. Like, we don't really know her genetics.
No, it's very
nature.
Yeah.
Also, to preface...
Wait, no, it's very nurture.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, very life experience focused. Yeah. Also, to preface, I'm going to talk a little bit about childhood development. I work with kids, and more specifically, I work with like behaviors with kids. So I know a thing or two.
It's right up your alley.
It's right up my alley. It's like, I could show this to them. I'd be
Yeah.
like, are you ready to
Yeah,
learn?
I feel like this would have been great to watch as a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it's like,
With like some explanation after. I feel like kids are going to watch it and then they need to talk about it after.
yes.
Yeah.
It's just a really solid animated movie.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe I just
love
saw.
the way it's animated. I love that they're little like wisps, like little dots all put together.
Yeah.
Like little atoms.
They are. The only weird thing is I don't get why Joy is Marge Simpson.
Yeah.
Literally,
Patrick was very fixated on
Yellow
that for the
skin,
first
blue
half an
hair,
hour.
green dress.
Yeah. He was
That's
like,
Marge.
why?
I'm sorry. That is just not a normal combination of things to put
No.
together and is Marge Simpson.
I don't know if they thought it would be marketable. I don't know what they
I
were
don't even
trying to
think
do.
Joy looks that great.
No, Joy is not. I don't know. You can look
Weird.
that up later.
Weird.
It is
It's
a little
weird.
bit. It is a little bit weird.
Yeah.
What emotion do you think is in charge of your brain? I'm asking you and everyone
I
else.
love that question. Do you want to bounce it back to yourself while I think about it a little harder? Or do you
I
not
actually
have an
wrote
answer?
this down and I was like, I don't know.
Okay.
I guess like it was anxiety for sure.
Yeah.
I
I
mean, there's so many different. There are way more emotions than in this movie, but we're gonna stick
I
to
know.
this movie.
And also, I feel like some of the like disgust is not an emotion I feel all the time.
Right. I don't really feel disgust a lot. I've shown you. I have a sister who has recently got a health thing going on with her toe, and I've been showing Patrick pictures, and you're definitely disgust about that. You're always like, ew,
I
don't
guess.
show me that.
Yeah, sure. But compared to how often I might feel joy or
Okay, true.
anger,
Yeah, if you're
like,
comparing
yeah, I don't really feel like I have one emotion that is really driving me.
Yeah, I don't think you do either.
I don't know, like a combination of maybe anxiety, joy, and the ennui person.
Yeah, that makes sense. I definitely think that like anxiety was my main shtick.
Oh yeah, same.
Definitely still a little bit.
Oh yeah.
However, I have help with that now. So I think I'm a combo of ennui. I know it doesn't seem like that on here, but
Yeah, you're in a lot of joy.
thank you.
You're a lot of joy.
I've worked so hard.
A lot of sadness.
Yeah, I gotta say, at the beginning of the movie, when anxiety came in, was explaining her reasoning for doing stuff, I leaned into Patrick and I was like, I'm kind of on anxiety's side here.
Same.
Joy was being a little weenie.
Yeah, and
I was like, Joy, move the F out of the way. You're making it worse.
You said this, but I love the way that Joy can be a little too
Oh, yeah, that
over
toxic positivity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they do a good job of saying
Yeah.
like it's not like just about joy and happiness.
Yes.
Because that's like naive.
I'm going to say,
Unrealistic.
I don't know when I plan to say this, but I'll say it now. It is not right to be happy and feel joy 24/7.
No.
That is a mental illness in itself.
That is really
It's
bad.
called mania.
Yeah. But I
it's
feel like
not healthy.
people that are like over the top, like way too optimistic, and like you almost miss the reality of your life.
Yeah.
And you make decisions that actually probably lead you to be less happy.
Yeah, it ebbs and flows. You need to let. I really like this movie as a metaphor for emotions too, like to help people understand when they're feeling what we call in the West negative emotions. Because there is such. I was going to wait until later to talk about this too, but now we're on it now. It's these negative emotions are so stigmatized here.
Like the bad and the good.
And it's like people experience bad once and it's like, well, I better get help about this. Like I'm screwed. And of course, there is a point where you should get help. And I'm not saying don't if you think you need it. However, you need to, like, anxiety helps you. It protects you. And they talked about that in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Anxiety
dude.
protects you in a different way than fear does. And it's primal. It gets that fight or flight going. If you're feeling that all the time, something might be wrong.
Yeah, well, I think they said like fear is more like for physical harm.
In the moment. Yeah, they meant, but also like they did, oh my gosh, at the end when they were like, okay, anxiety, like think about it. We can't control if Riley gets on the hockey team or not. Let's sit you in this comfy chair. What can we control right now? That is such a good question to ask yourself.
We have a test. And everyone else is like, all right, I forgot about that.
And anxiety is so helpful.
And that's why you need that anxiety, just that little spike.
You need to study now.
To like cross the threshold of remembering stuff.
Yeah, and asking yourself if you're feeling anxious. Something that really helped me anyway is identifying what you're anxious about, because sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm like, I feel fear. And I'm like, what the heck do I feel fear about? And then once you can find it, you can figure out, can I control that? Can I not control that? And then move on to the next steps.
Yeah.
Joy saying like, what can we control? And anxiety saying, the Spanish test we have this week. Great.
I think it's a great. Like
That's
it makes
fantastic.
me appreciate anxiety, because I'm like, yeah, anxiety's just kicking in.
We need every
you need
single
that.
one.
It's so important.
You need embarrassment to feel embarrassed about something you did, so you don't do it again.
I also, I loved the French character.
Oh, ennui.
What does that mean?
ENNUI. It essentially means boredom or like I don't care.
Oh,
it's like whatever.
Oh, I was thinking like on. Nui, like N-U-I-T, like night, on night?
No, ennui.
Ennui is just one word.
ENNUI.
Oh,
kind of like boredom, like, I don't care.
Yeah. So is that, I guess, just lacking of, like, apathy?
Part of me kind of felt like when you put someone on a lot of medicine and they lose their entire personality, they become ennui. Like, ennui controls their motherboard. They're just like, I don't care.
Oh,
Whatever.
So if you're just like a big stoner.
Yeah.
Ennui's running the ship. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
I like that when Ennui lost the phone. It was like, I suddenly care about everything. I really want to be like, when people lose their jewel.
that was a really subtle thing, is that Ennui is the person that has the phone.
Yes.
And like you said, they started caring as soon as they lost it. Like, interesting, Ennui. How much do you care?
Yeah, you must care a little bit then, because every teen, well, okay, not every teen. I definitely had a phase where I was like, I don't care. And I hated it.
Yeah, I never
It didn't
that.
last very long because I couldn't hold it together. I really couldn't.
Too much joy and sadness.
I was like, guess what? I actually care a lot about everything, maybe a little too much.
Ooh. Okay, something I liked about this movie.
Uh-huh.
The first movie is joy and sadness running through the halls.
Yeah.
Of her mind.
The folds.
And this one is the other three with joy and sadness not there.
Oh, yeah. They sent her away.
I thought that was like a really good way
nice.
to kind of give like a different dynamic to this movie.
I saw a review that was like, great, they're doing the same thing again. And I was like, I hate to break it to you, but like almost every movie is the same thing.
Yeah. But they did such a good job of expanding it out, where it's like,
they
now
had
we
the
have
stream
beliefs.
of consciousness.
Yeah.
They had
I liked the belief system. I thought that was a really big expansion on the whole personality.
The sarcasm.
That was funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
What else?
That was most of
the
it.
belief
Also,
system
just
was
throwing
really
stuff
good.
to the back of your mind. I have a term for that. I call it foldering.
Yes,
stuff,
your term. Will you please cite your mother? Because your mom told you about this. Never mind.
No,
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's almost like
You told me your mom told you this.
No.
Okay. Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Anyway, the idea is that if you just have a thought that you don't really want to think about, you put it in the recycling bin. You can't delete it, but it's just like, okay, this is fine, but we're just gonna leave it in here for now and just acknowledge that it's there.
Yeah.
But we're we're not trying to put it away, but we're just kind of putting it out
Talk
of
about it later.
sight for now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's this weird thing, but it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Recycling bin.
Well, now that we're talking about strategies, I'm just gonna add two of mine.
Tell me ones that your mom told you.
My mother did not give me any strategies. I want to make that very clear.
Okay.
But she always called me beautiful and sexy beans.
That's very nice.
but I guess this is not one of my strategies. However, something I really liked about the movie, and I think is a metaphor we can use when we're talking to people and trying to help them learn and navigate their emotions, is that you have to feel all of your emotions. You can't try to hide it. But a way you can think about it is, for example, I'm just going to use anxiety. Anxiety is controlling my console right now. I just need to let it do its thing. It's like something's going to switch. Something's going to happen. And I really I don't know. It's a way to say that, because I've also heard, you have an emotion just passing through. Like I've heard a train metaphor. I've heard, a bus. I don't know. But if this movie works as a metaphor for you, then definitely use it. And one strategy that I thought of when I was, I don't know, probably like 18 or 19 was whenever I had like a really bad thought, because sometimes I get a little bit of intrusivity going on, I picture my favorite cartoon character. So at the time it was Olaf from Frozen. But lately I've been trying to find a new one. But anyway, you just picture in your mind, if you're one of those people who can picture things, that character, you picture the thought like crumpling, and the character like puts it in a bag, and they tie up the bag, and then you picture the character like pushing it out one of your ears.
Nice.
So and then you just go, oh, it's out, it's gone. If it's something that you just you don't want to folder it, it can be a thought that's just gone out of your mind.
Cool.
Because you don't need every thought.
Yes.
Some
and they
thoughts,
throw them at the back.
Get it out your ear. Push it out your ear. That made me think of something else about the movie, though, and I think I forgot it, but I definitely wrote it down.
Okay, well, I definitely have something I want to ask you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, do it. This one's so fun. I love this.
So you did there was some research you did for this movie.
I sure
about
did.
What makes a good sequel.
Ooh,
and
you want to go to that?
I've been dying to know what makes a good sequel.
Okay, before we go to that,
checks the test.
Can I ask you one more thing?
Sure.
Before we get into that. Thinking back to when you were a teen, would you add any emotions? Like
for teens?
So obviously there's more than just, I don't know how many. We added four more.
We added 10.
There was like 9 or 10. So if you could add one more.
Or is it just 4 that they added in this?
They just added 4.
Okay.
Plus nostalgia.
Which I won't
what
count
cute old lady.
Yeah.
Like thinking about you when you were a teenager, like a driving emotion.
I don't know. Like the only other emotion maybe I could think would be like, I don't know, like pride or greed maybe.
Okay, a sin.
I know.
One of the 7
I
deadly
know.
sins.
Maybe that's not
no,
right.
No, it's okay. I have mine.
Yeah, maybe those are just sins.
Fair.
Do you have one?
Yeah, mine would probably be evil. Lust.
That's Inside Out 3.
I got too fast. However, I'm picturing this character with like horns. Get it? Maybe more than 2.
Sure.
I'm just picturing one of the hormone monstruses from Inside Out.
I know. It's so hard to separate
Connie
those.
walks in like, hello, ready for a bubble bath.
That would be a great crossover. Maybe not appropriate for Inside Out, but
Inside Out 3 is actually rated 14A. It has to be because Riley's going to be 14.
Oh,
I don't care.
Oh, they keep
also
bumping it up. They won't because it's Disney, but damn,
also,
that would be great.
That big dark secret.
Yeah.
I think I know what it is.
What do you think it is, Liv?
I think she likes women.
That's what I thought too.
Nice.
I mean, we're probably...
I'm projecting. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't give a frickle frackle. It's my experience watching a movie, and I was like...
That's exactly where my brain went to.
Chapel Roan song. I was singing, good luck, babe, good luck, in my head.
I don't know, man. It's setting it up. Also, she plays hockey.
I saw all those grade 12s at her high school, and I was like, one of them is definitely a lesbian.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't give a...
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, yeah, that big, and he goes like, not yet. And I was like, yeah, because he's waiting for the sequel. Okay, what makes a good sequel?
Okay. Yeah, tell me what makes a good sequel.
All right, let's get into it. Where am I going? Let me find it. Okay, so when I was thinking about watching this movie, it is a sequel. This is our first animated movie.
Yes.
And our first sequel.
Sure.
Because Kingdom, that was like number 4.
Yeah.
So I remembered this video I saw on YouTube by my favorite YouTuber, shhhhh Productions, which shhhhh talks about movies, video games, blah, 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 blah. I personally like to watch the movie stuff. And it was about Shrek 2. And it's a 24-minute long video about what makes the perfect sequel and why Shrek 2 is the perfect sequel. So I thought there are 4 things we could discuss each of them to see if this movie fits as a good sequel.
And so just Shrek 2 satisfies all these
Shrek
points.
2, that's the video was called like why Shrek 2 is the perfect sequel.
Okay.
The other sequels he mentions are
No.
Blade Runner 2049.
That's no Shrek 2.
Dark Knight.
No Shrek. Oh, damn it.
Star Wars Empire Strikes Back.
Damn it. Okay, whatever.
Okay. Anyway. And he says, the criteria for a perfect sequel is a lot more achievable than a perfect movie. As a result, a movie can perform its functions as a sequel perfectly, even if it can't be from a perfect movie. So, just because a movie might be a perfect sequel doesn't mean it's going to be a perfect movie, because he says there can't be a perfect movie. Anyway, what it needs, number 1, expand the universe from the first movie in a meaningful way.
Totally did that.
I think it did that too.
I think they did that with belief system.
Belief system, introducing the new
emotions.
Yeah, when those people came in and they were like, it's demo day.
That was great.
I was like, we're expanding. They expanded the brain.
I love that.
Because we didn't just get the forgotten, like where Bing Bong died, we got the back of the brain.
Yeah.
And it also expanded the universe outside of the brain.
Yep,
because Riley's going to high school. We weren't just in the house, which is kind of where we were in the first one.
True, yeah.
There was a lot of different settings.
I think it did a good job expanding the universe.
I think it did that. The next one is expand the story in a new, compelling way.
So I think that would be a new challenge for Riley.
Yes, and I do think that navigating these new emotions was incredibly challenging for Riley.
Ooh, I guess that is the challenge. The situation she's in brings those challenges, those emotions upon her.
Yeah.
But the struggle, you're right, it is navigating the new emotions.
Navigating, that's like the main story. And I mean, like you could say like, no, the main story is her trying to make this hockey team. But while it's about the emotions.
Movie about emotions.
It's the movie about emotions.
Yeah.
It's called Inside Out, not Outside In. Okay. So I think it does that. I do. But also, if anyone disagrees, let us know, because I feel like we are confirming our bias here. Anyway, I know I can see you trying to be like, well, maybe it doesn't.
I think it does a good job.
But I think it does.
Okay.
I think our hesitation, maybe it didn't do the best job.
I think it's just because it's like you want to think outward in the world. It's like, well, she's just trying out for hockey for high school.
It's also still like it's still all in her head.
But it's a very internal idea. And internally, yes, this character is going through new challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So
I actually think it I think it expands the universe, the Inside Out universe.
Oh, absolutely.
No, it does that. I think it does that better than story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3 is introducing new compelling themes or expanding on themes of the original.
Expanding on themes of the original.
Yep.
Much more than
adding.
Because again, the theme of this is learning to accept emotions.
Yeah, and navigate them.
Yeah.
And
would you say that a new theme, though, is not letting an emotion take over, one emotion take over, or is that kind of a theme from the last one?
Ooh, I think this is what I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
But I think I have to save it because it's from a review.
Okay.
Sorry,
no, you can talk about it. Just say it now. You don't have to go into the review now. Just let me know. Just see what you think.
No, it's just... No. I need to wait.
Okay.
I need to wait till we talk about the reviews.
I want to know now.
I can't talk about it without talking about the review.
Okay.
So we have to finish this first.
But we can't finish this without you just saying the idea.
No.
don't like
yes.
it.
Yes, we can.
like it.
Yes, we can. But it's about what you were talking about. How it's the theme of Riley figuring herself out.
Okay.
Actually, I would even argue that the first one, she's like, why do I feel different? And this one expands it by her needing to figure herself out to create her belief system.
Okay.
Like she had to shatter her belief system, which didn't even exist in the first one.
Right.
Yet.
I kind of got thrown off where we.
I got thrown off
about.
too. Okay,
Yeah.
so this one is compelling themes or expanding on the themes of the original. New compelling themes. Themes confuse me. I've never actually.
Yeah.
I've never really understood theme.
No, I think we got it. I lost it. But yeah, I think it's like the theme of learning to deal with emotions.
Yeah, I think it expands on it in a compelling way by adding the new emotions and making Riley a teenager, especially with the puberty thing going off. Like we know that her brain is reconstructing. Like that's what happens. You basically become a new person. You are stripping the old to get ready for the new. And we see that with the brain being under construction, literally. The sarcasm, her losing her friends or having a hard time with her friends and not being able to tell her friends because she didn't understand herself. I think it does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think that was all good points.
We're just going to say yes.
Okay,
and the
I like
final one is leave an undeniable impact on your franchise.
I mean, it's a good movie.
I thought it was a great movie. I can't wait to watch it again.
So, I mean, I guess so.
It's hard when there's like no other ones.
To be like an undeniable, like lasting impact. Like, I mean, that sounds really grandiose, but I think that kind of just boils down to like, did you make a good quality piece of content? And the answer to that was yes.
Yeah, I loved it. And it's tough because I keep thinking about Shrek 2. And when you're talking about all this within the Shrek universe, you compare it to Shrek 3, which in my head doesn't exist. So it makes Shrek 2 look that much better. But with this one, we only have the first. I think they're pretty similar to me. They made me feel very similar things.
Okay. Yeah. I agree.
Like, I loved them truly equally, I think. I cannot decide which one I like
better.
They're
very good. They're very consistent.
Yes.
They really
with like 10-year difference of release.
Really?
Yeah.
This was released in 2014?
I'm pretty sure someone said 10 year.
No way. I just saw this movie a day ago.
Patrick also has never seen The Lion King. 2015.
9 years ago. I saw the first time I saw this. Dude, I was like, what? Wow. Okay, so yeah, this was my first time seeing it.
I know.
Anyway, I think they did a good job sitting on it because it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie.
They also,
I enjoyed it a lot.
They had 2 main professionals working on the movie with them. So they had Lisa D'Amour, who's a teenager psychologist, and Dasher Keltner, who's a professor of psychology at Berkeley.
Okay.
And they helped, I read a couple interviews, they helped choose the emotions they were going to focus on for Riley being a teenager, because they both said there's like over 30 they could have chose.
Right.
So they had to narrow it down. You can't have 30
that many characters.
Yeah, you just can't.
Yeah.
They also included that, where is it here? Oh, Lisa studies facial expressions. So that moment in the car when we see inside the other girl's brain, and disgust is like, I live on facial expressions, and they notice like the eyebrows moving, and she's like, your friend knows something. And then in the friend's brain, they compare Riley's eyes being wide to squinting, just like a centimeter.
Like thinking, like,
yeah, and then they say, she knows that we know something.
Yeah.
And that was a really good moment. So it seems really simple, but they had like professionals helping them with this.
That's cool.
And I thought that was interesting. Another thing I think was interesting that they discussed what begins happening when you are a teenager is that like the social part of your world is at the forefront.
Yeah, like
and family Island was a little bit smaller. They needed binoculars.
Yeah, it's the reality.
And
of
Friendship
it,
Island
sure.
was huge.
Absolutely.
Like Sadness is like, whoa, look at Friendship Island. And I think that was a really good aspect because I definitely was like, Mom, drop me off. I don't want you to come in with me. Like, not because I hate you, but because I just want to be with my friends.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I thought that was really good too. Do you have some more thoughts? Pick up your book. What does your book say?
Oh, dude, I don't got.
Oh yeah,
much.
right. You didn't write much.
The brainstorm was clever.
Oh yeah, you loved the brainstorm. You were like, if it's a brainstorm.
I did call it before it even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dude, that's honestly like, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
So I don't have that much, and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really just liked it.
Me too.
Do you want to get to the reviews?
In a moment.
Yeah. What do you got?
I added that the professionals who helped with the movie really wanted to create the quintessential teen experience, which is why they chose the hockey, like making a team.
Yeah, I think they did a really good choice because this movie is just over the course of 3 days.
Yes.
And it does a really good job of.
Yeah. And one thing they honed in on, which I don't think I would have caught. I just don't think I would have thought about this word, is perfectionism.
Okay.
So they say that perfectionism, especially in adolescent girls, and especially when anxiety is at the controls, is a very real and extremely challenging issue. We see it across all genders. You just see it a bit more in girls. A lot of that arises out of their wish to please. We socialize girls more than boys to be pleasing to the adults around them. When you do that to kids, they get reinforcement when you praise them for being perfect. So when girls or highly perfectionistic boys bring their A+ game to everything, adults tend to cheer them on and encourage them to do more of that. This can backfire. I'm saying this because this is important when you're talking to people and talking to yourself. It can backfire in terms of making them feel like their value rests on making no errors and having no areas where they're struggling. So the center of this movie is about Riley trying to make a hockey team. So if they come into that, they being Riley in this case, with the sense of the only way to get this right is to make no errors, it's a recipe for anxiety and discomfort.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see that. I think, I see a lot of tweets that are people saying like, well, I was a really gifted child and now I just feel like a piece of crap.
Yeah, you see that all the time.
Yeah, and you see people are afraid to try new things because they're not good at it right away.
Oh, dude, the assumption that people are naturally good at things is so it's harmful.
Yeah, and
you start bad.
And you
just start bad.
You hear it.
Thing.
I just wish adults did this to each other and even teenagers, where when a kid starts drawing for the first time, we praise the crap out of them. We're like, whoa, look at that sick drawing you did. And it's a scribble. Obviously, because they're just starting.
Yeah.
But when adults just start something, we're like,
oh, you better stick to what you're good at.
You're going to get better. You're going to get better.
Yeah. And
Why
it's like,
it's praise people,
for trying new things.
Especially when they're starting something
Yeah, there's
new.
no, talent is not free.
Yeah.
It's effort.
No.
Yeah. And you got to fail. But,
you do need to fail.
Course. Like, we know that. Yeah.
So I saw a couple.
Oh, you had a few notes in here. You took my notebook and you were like, "Give me the notebook. I got some things. You got some drawings in here."
I don't have a drawing. I just circle stuff that I don't want to forget. I saw a couple reviews. I didn't quote any of them directly because there was more than 3. They said that this movie isn't really for kids. After seeing it,
damn, I believe that. I loved it.
Yeah, well, you can still like a kid.
But it's 9 years later from the first one coming out, so it's probably more targeted to.
Well, to me, I feel like if a 5-year-old sees it, they're going to like the fun colors, and you have to talk to them about it.
Yeah.
To me, this movie is for like upper elementary kids. If you're going to pick a kid age. In my opinion. But after seeing it, I know at least 100 kids that are going to love this movie.
So you're just saying it's not for like a 5-year-old? I
think, I just wouldn't bring a 4-year-old to see this.
Make a 4-year-old watch this.
No, I'd bring a 4-year-old to see Minions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Silly fun.
I love Minions.
But this is a little
shade.
Listen, kids, this is a little deeper. Okay?
It's a little bit deeper than Minions. I want to see who's in a Minion brain.
Joy and fear. And honestly, the main 5. The main 5.
But joy.
Like zero depth.
I think it's just joy and fear. No, they get sad.
I know they get
We can't talk
teary.
about this anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a scene where they go into a projection room, which I think is hilarious because anxiety projects. And I loved the moment where Joy said anxiety is using Riley's imagination against her.
That was so
Because when you're
clever.
anxious, you make things up.
Yeah.
And if you let that roll, it can be detrimental to you. And anyway, I just really liked that moment. And yeah, everything changing was so perfect. Like, I think sadness and or disgust was like, nothing's the same anymore. Oh my gosh. And I really liked that because, I don't know, you grow up and things change and it's really uncomfortable and you're like, I wish I was the kid I used to be. I thought Mount Crushmore was really funny.
Yeah, who are the 4 people in Mount Crushmore? I didn't really get that.
Well, it was Blade,
Blade?
that character you really liked from the jail.
Yes. I
Blade
did
was on the
recognize
right.
Blade.
I don't know the other 3. I think they were just
Was it maybe
people.
one of the hockey players?
It wasn't a girl.
Oh, okay.
I was looking so hard for
You're
that.
like,
I don't think so, but the internet may take this by storm, everyone. So
okay.
just a heads up.
Okay.
I really liked that.
Thought that was clever. Yeah.
Let me see your emotion. Oh my gosh. No, I have to wait.
Okay.
There's many parts of you. Loved that. There's a gray area. Oh, and this was the last thing I wanted to mention. When Joy got mad and sad and all of the things.
Yeah.
And they were like, you're delusional. And she turns around and she's like, of course I'm delusional. And I was like, sometimes you need to be delusional to be happy. That's all I could think of. Sometimes you really need to be like, yeah, life is awesome and nothing ever goes wrong. And I'm about to have the best day ever when you're walking to like, I don't know, a funeral or something.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a really like good moment for Joy, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think it was a bit of that like, okay, toxic positivity and stuff. And I just think that was a very really like humanizing moment for Joy. It added some depth to her character.
Yeah, it showed too that she did learn from the first movie.
Thought so.
Because in the first movie, you know, she's like, we do need sadness.
Yeah.
And then she gets sad. And then disgust, fear, and anger help her.
Totally.
I really like Anger. I think he's really funny.
He's like the best written like generic character.
I loved when in the beginning they were getting like kind of scouted by the coach and they're called like the Firehawks or something.
He puts
that on his head and he's like, oh yeah, and something I can get behind. I was like laughing out loud. I laughed out loud a few times.
Yeah,
I thought it was really funny.
It was a very laughable movie.
It was. Okay, shall we get to reviews?
Yeah, let's get to it. Let's hear it.
It's got a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I can totally understand that.
Oh, that makes me really glad because again, I don't know if movies are good or not. So when I think it's good and then the reviews line up, I'm like, I'm smart.
Yeah.
Because we're not movie review people. We just like movies and we just listen to them. And
I'm a
watch
movie
them.
reviewer.
I'm not.
This is called being delusional. Okay, so someone said, why did I put someone? I literally wrote someone said. Maybe they didn't include a name.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. While it's chaotic, new cast serves a clear purpose. Inside Out 2 is more metaphor than meaning. It explains plenty about the confusing emotions associated with puberty, often in intelligent ways, but it rarely lets them be felt or experienced the way its predecessor did. And I just don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Envy wasn't really felt.
No.
Envy, I get that about envy.
Yeah.
But also, Inside Out 2 is more metaphor than meaning.
Okay,
What isn't metaphor a way to explain a meaning?
When you said that that went right over my head. I was like, what?
No,
What do
so
you
the reason
mean?
the
What?
reason I
Isn't this
took
entire
this
movie a
quote out.
metaphor?
Yeah, I was thinking like, I think that's the point of the effing movie.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be metaphor to get the meaning.
It's over my head, man.
They're personifying emotions. It's so clear. Anyway, I just thought that was foolish. And I wanted
agree.
to bring it up.
My brain
Foolish.
doesn't like processing that.
Okay,
idea.
well, it's okay. We'll go to the next one.
Ah.
It's okay. Inside Out 2 marks a triumphant creative return for Pixar, bringing off the main thing that this studio, at its best, has done better than anyone, finding the sweet spot that merges the gaze of children and adults. The movie is really about the micro choices we all make to sculpt our personalities.
That's a much better take.
Yeah, I liked that.
I do agree that Pixar does seem to hit that well.
They do, because they did Toy Story.
Yeah.
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 And I like the sweet spot that merges the gaze of children and adults.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like that. And it felt good to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's the one that I wanted to talk about.
Okay, let's get into it.
I just have a couple things to say. This was taken from Vulture by Alison Willmore, and it's called Another Product of the Pixar Slump. I think the title itself is annoying. Pixar is going through a slump. There's a lot talked about online about this.
Okay.
You haven't seen any of the recent movies, so I can't talk to you about it.
Okay.
So anyway, we're not going to get into it. This is a bit of a quote, so buckle up with me, people.
Okay, recent Pixar movies real quick.
Turning Red, Luca.
Carl's Date, Elemental, Lightyear, Ciao Albert. Yeah, I mean, I definitely haven't seen any of these.
I loved Turning Red.
Okay.
I really haven't seen a lot of them either.
Toy Story 4.
Yeah, sometimes. I didn't see Lightyear. Lightyear bombed. I didn't think it was a good premise. We need to think of new ideas, people. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. The premise is set. I see it.
Yeah. Okay. I started it with this. Then there's the interior one, world, basically, which feels more and more like it's intruding on Riley's story rather than enhancing it. New characters and elements get added. The metaphor becomes overextended. And the idea that this world is meant to be a reflection of one person's psyche gets lost in a sea. By the end of Inside Out 2, it's the inner world that feels forced onto the outer story, turning Riley into someone who has to lurch according to its whims rather than lead the way in her own struggle through the tortures of being a new teenager. She's more puppet than full character, though the forces pulling her strings aren't a rainbow of talking emotions, so much as they are a studio that's lost its touch. I can't disagree with anything more in my entire life.
I really like. It's not that I disagree. I believe like the opposite of what they said.
The total opposite.
I think that in this movie they did a really good job of starting to show Riley become a person, to make her
That's what I was so excited to talk about.
And it made so much sense in the first one that she isn't that yet, because as a baby, just emotions and there's no regulating.
You feel it and it comes out.
Yes, there's no.
You are starting.
There's no frontal cortex to like.
It's still developing
decide.
So much, but you are at the mercy of your emotions when you're a kid.
And so that she's starting to form her personality.
You find in a different way, because kids also have personalities, but you're a bit more malleable when you're a kid. You can really, as a person who works with kids, you can distract and redirect kids a lot easier than you can with adults. Because kids, like, they see something that brings them joy, they're going to go towards that, especially when they're sad. But with adults, it's a little bit different because we have developed more complex emotions because our prefrontal, just frontal, our frontal cortex is more developed. And this also, I'm so excited to talk about this more. The part where this person, Alison Willmore, I'll say her name, I'll name drop, says is, by the end of Inside Out 2, it's the inner world that feels forced onto the outer story. That's because the inner world is her fucking brain. The inner world, of course the inner world is inflicting on the outer world story. It's her brain. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it's a bad take.
It's awful.
It's a bad take.
Awful. She's more puppet than full character. Well, guess what? That's what we are, because our brain controls us. Oh my God. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree with you that this movie did, and I was really excited to mention that, is that this movie is really good at showcasing how Riley, growing up, hitting puberty, is starting to form a self. It was near the end where they realized that, I forget the exact moment or what they said exactly, but there was this moment of almost nothing. Like they were kind of waiting to see what she was going to do. And it was a moment where the audience could say, that's because Riley's in control.
Making a decision.
Like your emotions can come in and they will, but ultimately you control what you do with those emotions.
Yeah.
And you could see Riley starting that flip. You could see it. There's now the world isn't black and white anymore. It's more gray.
Yes. And also with those, she has those different mental schemas of I'm this and this and this.
Yes,
and this
like
and
the
this
different
and this.
colors. Like you are more than one thing.
I'm a good person.
Yes, it's so much more complex than
Yeah,
that.
I love how they expanded that because I was like, okay, you're a good person. I'm like,
yeah, I was like,
whatever,
I was like, I'm so happy she's saying that to herself before she goes to sleep. What a happy person.
Yes.
I'm so happy for her.
But it's the reality of just.
But then
like,
anxiety came in, and I was like, it's making so much sense.
yeah, because it's just like dynamic.
That's just what happens.
It's just all this. I don't know, man. I think like going back to the sequel stuff, like I think it does a really good job of expanding the world. And in this case, the world is the mind and the emotions.
It's Riley's mind,
and really like personality.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I really liked that they showed that. I think I may have written something really quick about that. Yes, your emotions like do show up, but you ultimately decide what to do.
Yeah.
Like I said before, you acknowledge that they're there. You let them do their thing. You take a break if you need to. You go for a walk if you need to. You journal if you need to. And you decide what to do with them.
Okay, Liv.
You are the pilot of your own life, which is a direct quote from The Sleigh Life of Zach and Cody. Anyway, I have a couple more from Letterboxd.
Oh,
though.
okay. Nice.
Yeah. This is from Nico Shea, 4 stars. I wish the emotions would pilot them like Pacific Rim and make their humans fight each other.
Oh, okay.
There wasn't a lot.
No, that's funny. That's just so like crazy.
Carla, 4 stars. So we all know what the big secret is, right?
Nice.
And I was like, I'm going to save that one because I don't know what Carla's talking about, but I do now.
Oh my God, you saved that before.
Oh, I saved it before.
Oh, wow, that's so perfect.
Yeah, I saw it today and I was like,
so perfect.
I'm excited for the big secret. Anyway, then it happened and I was like, Riley likes women.
It's canon. It's not.
Canon.
It's not.
Hey.
Well, it's not. It's literally not canon.
Yeah, I know. But the world,
like in the first movie, she has like a boyfriend.
An imaginary boyfriend. I would die for Riley.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Like,
yeah,
there's
because
evidence
we live in
against.
compulsive heteronormative.
Anyway.
Woke
alert. Woke alert.
I have something to say about that too.
I'm memeing.
By Isa. Sadness made up for her annoying ass in the first movie. Anxiety is the new evil. That's what this person said. I didn't think sadness was annoying in the first movie. I thought sadness was really funny.
I mean, it was meant to be portrayed as like, oh,
of course,
sadness.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh my God, it's so deep and
yeah,
emotions are so sick.
We need sadness. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So not like super funny ones. If you can think of anything funny.
No, that was great. You did
I'm
a
sure
good
there
job.
will be funny ones.
The only thing I read that I think I would add is just that the panic attack scene was really well done.
Yes.
I think
Actually,
really
I saw. Yeah, I wanted to mention that too.
Showing the internal and then showing how Riley is on the outside. It was like a really nice.
Yeah. I read a couple people saying like it was really nice for them to see that. They felt really seen.
Yeah.
And they wish they would have seen that. And I think that's an important scene to talk to kids about.
I also like that it wasn't like she's having a panic attack.
Yeah, the way
it was just like her having a tough time.
Yeah, some people like made it seem like it was just going to be like so pushed in our face, and it just simply was not.
It's good.
It wasn't. And I was also nervous that people in the movie were going to say, oh no, anxiety attack, because technically anxiety attack is not a thing.
Oh, okay.
And that's a bomb drop. It's called a panic attack.
Okay, damn.
Yeah, which comes from anxiety. You can get panic attacks from other things.
Okay.
But
okay. Final review.
Oh my God. What's yours?
Well, do we want to give a little sugar? Make a good short for this, like give a little like, oh, like I thought it was really this and I thought it was really that. No, you don't want to do that. Okay.
I thought Inside Out 2 was so fun, so vibrant, so full of life. It had new characters that made me laugh and I teared up a little bit. And the people behind us talked a lot, but they were really enjoying it, so I didn't even care.
They had a fun time.
They did. They were like, oh my gosh. And when you said brainstorm, I was like, you can say it louder because we're just having a chat in here. And I can't wait to watch it again. I'm so excited to watch it again.
It was a really good movie.
I love movies like this. I love them.
And I just love feeling great.
Yep. And also a lot of people are like, I don't know, there's so many love stories. It wasn't a love story. It's just about a kid growing up.
Playing hockey.
And it sucks. Watching it, I was like, I do not want to be 13.
Okay.
That's it.
Final review?
You go first.
Final rating? Oh,
I'm scared.
My final rating? 8-9.
Mine's a 9.
Oh.
Okay, 9-1. I don't care.
No. You said 9.
Okay.
You can't change it. Nice. All right. Is that it?
It is. But can I just mention, also thank you for listening, Comment Credit Gang, if you made it.
Comment Credit Gang. Credit Gang.
I just like saying that now.
Yeah, well, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention something at the end. When I was doing a lot of research for this,
She does all the research.
I do.
I do the editing. She does the research.
Even though some people think it's not very good, and that's okay. You're allowed to have your opinions about that. But I do research, and there's a lot of people talking about Holly woke instead of calling it Hollywood. They're calling it Holly woke. And something I wanted to mention about this is that you are allowed to think what you want. You can watch movies and think, oh my gosh, this is so frustrating. But I did just want to bring it up because we just need to be careful about making generalizations like that, because you can convince yourself that everything has gone woke. And then you see that there's a story, like a queer story. That's not something that's woke. That's just a queer story being told. Marginalized people have been pushing for representation in Hollywood for years. Because a movie has more representation than just white people, that does not mean that it's woke.
Yeah.
When I think woke, I think of that stupid ass all-girl scene in Avengers.
Dude, it was perfect.
It made no sense.
There is nuance to this discussion
of
wokeness.
Pandering. It was just so obvious what they were doing.
It's so bad.
That's what I think of.
And so like an like a dude executive.
Yes.
Being like, yes.
We need a girl boss
The women
scene.
will love this.
Yeah, and if you see where they all were before that scene, it makes no sense. The whole line, like, she's not alone. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. But just because let's say Riley becomes gay.
Yes.
It's not.
That makes it relevant to this movie. It's not going woke. Those people exist.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. Also, like the people that are so like all Hollywood is woke now, it's like you are having such a bad time.
Yeah. It's
like you're so unhappy.
Yeah, and you know what? You are allowed not to like what Hollywood's putting out right now.
That's fair.
That's okay. And you can think that it's gone a little bit woke. That's also fine. I just ask, if you do think that, just to critically think about why you think that and be careful not to project, which is funny coming from me because I project. It's impossible not to project. But once you really have something in you, it is really easy to confirm a bias. And you may watch every movie now and think, this has gone woke. It will take so much enjoyment out of it. And there are stories that need to be told.
Yeah. And there's other people that like.
There are other people in the world that are not the same as you and don't look like you. And they deserve to, 1, be in stories, 2, have their stories told. I don't have a third one.
All right. So let's. Yeah.
Holly woke. I like woke. Have fun. Be weird.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, bye everyone. Get a library card.